So in one of our previous videos, we were talking about the possibility of Channing Tatum showing up eventually as Gambit. And I didn't admittedly love the fact of it. It's just Channing's look. But however, I did say in that video, if we see him somewhere down along the road, whether that's in a Deadpool movie or in another X-Men movie or whatever, and he absolutely kills it, I will be the first one to admit it. And I'm happy to say that this man absolutely rocked it. From the look all the way up into the accent. It was perfect. I know there's been a lot of talk out there that, the accent sounds goofy. And even for me, the look, it took, several days even for it to simmer. I'm not a particular fan of the ears because in some iterations you don't see the ears, but I don't have a problem with it. And I grew up around a couple of Cajun friends. Shout outs to you guys. You guys know who you are. Very much like Gambit, you can't understand much of what they're saying. And it's funny every time he speaks on film, but it's perfect. And I get why most people are complaining about the accent. You guys are thinking he has to sound what he sounded like in the animated series. Honestly, and the guy who plays him will has even admitted it. He did his best with the Cajun accent, but the Cajun accent is notoriously difficult to pull off. I was skeptical that Channing was going to be able to do it, but here we are today, and I can't praise this dude enough. This is one of the for any I've been guilty of this myself and Griffin to tell you. For any one of us complaining about comic book accuracy and how suits are supposed to look like, I know we're all praising Wolverine's yellow and blue suit. But my God, when Gambit came on scene, that is comic book and cartoon accuracy at its teeth.
It is so good. The only thing that's missing is the red eyes, but even then, it's mm, it is so good. I was extremely hesitant about Channing Tatum. I would have been okay if we never saw him, which is I can't believe I even said that after seeing the movie a few times now. He rocked it. He loves this character. He's been prepping, much like Ryan Reynolds did with Deadpool, for over 10 years to get this role. He deserves it. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen the behind the scenes of him training. He does all the bow staff work, the card tricks, the accent. It is so well done. The costume's amazing. Ears look a little goofy, but it fits the costume, it fits the look. He needs his own MCU movie. It's not confirmed yet, but everything that takes place after Doomsday, before Secret Wars, is going to take place in Battle World. And one of those movies in that period is heavily rumored to be an X-Men movie. You got an X-Men movie, you got characters who are placed outside of their world. Sounds a lot like Channing Tatum. That's what happened with
Look,
Gambit and Deadpool 3. I think he
Kevin
should definitely
Feige,
be in it.
Kevin Feige would have to be insane not to be
He's
looking at the
earned it.
chatter, be looking at what people are thinking about Channing as Gambit. I like Griff said, when the name was thrown out there, I was like, man, that guy doesn't have the look.
No, he doesn't.
And seeing him in costume, his mannerisms, the bow staff, which is I got into bow staffing when I was a kid because of X-Men the animated series and because Gambit is just such a badass character. He's much more than the dude with the cards. Essentially, the cards and Gambit fans, Cajuns, or anyone who gives a crap about what I'm talking about right now will tell you that's more for comfort. That fits in his pocket. But essentially, anything this man gets his hands on is an explosive.
Yeah.
It could be bubble gum in his mouth that he's chewing. He could charge it with his kinetic energy, spit that out at you, and blow it up in your face. Also, he can time it too, which, he can
So
throw it
cool.
at you and dictate when that thing's going to explode, which is immensely badass. He can charge up his bow staff, also use it as a kinetically charged weapon. Yes, he's very accurate with the cards. It's not just they don't go that far because they're charged with kinetic energy. It's because he knows how to throw them. And Channing put in the work. He learned, he worked with some of the best people out there to throw I can't throw a card, and I'm a giant Gambit fan. I could throw a card, but not at the degree that Channing Tatum could throw a card. That's me. He could actually make it hit you now. And it's funny to hear him talk about this because he practiced for hours and hours, martial arts with the bow staff and throwing cards. He just sat there for hours and hours on end, throwing cards, being taught how to throw cards, to a degree, like sort of like a ninja star. Like he could aim and, you know, hit his target. That's not easily done. Gambit's a very interesting character. He's a thief. He's part of the Thieves Guild. He can get into most places what other people can't get into. He's very agile. He's very well trained in martial arts. For people that just think, oh, he's just the guy with the cards. No, it's why do you think that Xavier brought him over to the X-Men? He is one of my two favorite X-Men. If I had to pick, this is the guy that I was most excited to see. And I was excited, but I was also very worried because he's been done wrong in the past. Taylor Kitsch played him in X-Men Origins Wolverine, and I don't hate Taylor. He did the best he had. He was dealt the Ryan Reynolds card in that same movie. So, the material wasn't all that great. So when we heard that there was rumors about Channing, by the way, the full script for Channing's movie's out there. And if you guys read it, I damn it, I wanted to watch that movie. Then the whole Fox, purchase was done and this started in limbo. But the character, I love the character in the comics. I love he's from, Louisiana, he's Cajun country. That's why Wolverine always calls him Cajun in the animated show, which I love. I love the dynamic between Gambit and Wolverine. I've been
Hmm.
dying for
He's had
years to
good dynamics
see
with every
those two
character.
up on stage together, especially after X-Men 97, which if you guys saw, you know what I'm talking about. But to see Gambit and Wolverine in costume, accurate comic book costume, standing side by side together in a movie, I can't, and I'll never be able to articulate what that meant to me. That Thank you to Ryan Reynolds. Thank you to Channing for putting in the work. My God, this guy deserves, if anyone deserves, I don't even think that Ben Affleck or any other actor, probably you could say that Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. I almost said Hugh Hefner. Hugh Jackman put in the work for Wolverine. But I would say that Channing's up there.
Yeah, I definitely
The
think Ryan
care
is.
the care he has for this character, Kevin, trust me, dude. This guy deserves to at least be in an X-Men movie. Not his own solo movie, an X-Men movie. The dynamic
Yeah.
between Gambit and Rogue is something us Gambit and Rogue fans really want to see on the big screen, and we deserve it.
Yeah, and before we continue, let us know what you think about Gambit. Do you think Channing Tatum should come back? And if so, how would you want him back? And I absolutely, I agree with Edward. I really do want to see him back. I really do hope it's in an X-Men movie rather than a solo movie, just because I think Gambit works so much better in the X-Men, just because of his dynamics with every single character. He's such a fun character to watch, and I think Channing can definitely pull it off. He's definitely sold me. He's definitely, yeah, he is one of my favorite parts about that movie for sure.
God, I want to see
So
him with Jubilee. I just got to hear him say hello,
that's not
Petite,
gonna happen.
once. Oh,
But maybe later. So then, given what we know, and let us know in the comments what your thoughts are as well. But I want to hear this from you, Ed. For X-Men being set in the battle world, theoretically, and if we do get Channing back there, which I think if it's going to happen is likely, he may not know the X-Men, could just be a bunch of different X-Men from different collective universes banding together. But what would you want to see from that? Because I
I
know
just,
that this
I just want
is
to
this is
see
what
him
you
do what
need.
he. I just want to see him do more of what he did here. I just want to see him. He's funny without having to be funny, if that makes any sense. It's just every time that dude spoke, I laughed my balls off.
I mean, like
He's
even like the
charismatic.
phrases, which like I know you educated me about it, but that the one joke where he said like he came out of his
Daddy's
papa's.
dick ready.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was a Cajun phrase. I thought it was just a dumb joke, but
Oh man, my buddies. I remember before. That's why I laughed so hard because I remember one of my buddies, Fred. Growing up with this dude. Every time we, hey dude, I'm about to pick you up. You ready? Yeah, I came out of my daddy's dick ready. And so when I heard Gambit say that, I don't know if it's necessarily a Cajun phrase, but I know I grew up with Cajun people saying that stuff all the time. You know, my dad,
Okay.
my friend's dad would be like, "But we're about to barbecue this." Me like, "Yeah, are you ready, Mr. Agar?" Shit, I came out of my daddy's dick ready, son. You don't know what you're talking. You know, things like that. So when I heard him say that, I was like, holy balls, man. I was in that dimension. And I just thought he's funny and charismatic, which is everything I remembered Gambit from the animated series being, but in live action. So I really was just a big ass kid at the movies. And Channing was able to, channel that, if you will.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. He is around 40 now. So then ideally for me, I would want a rogue of a similar age. We could probably do a bit younger, but probably not younger than 34, 35. I know we've gotten some bigger age gaps, but I do like Gambit and Rogue being a similar age. And
Yeah,
Channing
I'd
does
agree.
look pretty young. He doesn't
Yeah,
look,
Channing looks like he does not look 40.
yeah,
You could get someone in early 30s, mid
I think so.
35s, for Rogue, and I'd be perfectly fine with that. And there's some very sexy 35-year-old women that could fit the role. I do want and I agree with you 100%. I want a warm-hearted Rogue, and she does very much like Channing. She doesn't have to be from the South, but if she puts in the work and she does, if she has to have that Southern Belle accent. She
Yeah.
has to. Just like Gambit didn't work in that X-Men origin movie because I don't know if this was a choice by Taylor or by the director or whatever, but he had a Southern accent,
It was a
but he didn't have
cowboy
a
Southern.
Cajun. He didn't have a Cajun accent.
Yeah.
And also, what the fuck was he wearing? So remember, if you, because I think we talked about that movie at length, and one of my biggest
Hmm.
complaints, a lot of friends were like, "But what's your issue with him? The dude's wearing purple. His coat sucked. It was
Yeah.
a jacket. It's not a long trench coat." And Gambit's signature, if you do nothing else, give him that long brown coat. And Channing
Channing
had
had
that
it.
long brown. Channing took it all the way, man. He had that stupid scuba diver thing that he wears on his head. He had the purple armor right here. He even had the boots.
I'm
This dude had
inclined to
everything.
believe that if he does return, we're not getting the same outfit though. I think they're gonna change it.
I
I
think so too, but
they're gonna keep the coat, but I think they'll probably go more of the scruffier look.
I'm okay with that. But give me the coat.
Yeah,
Like
I
you
think we'll keep the
can't.
coat.
Gambit doesn't go nowhere without his coat. And again, I know I sounded southern as hell saying that, but I am from the south, so it's all good. But again, Gambit wears this shit all year long in Louisiana, in Baton Rouge. And if any of y'all have been down there, it is hot as all balls. And he's walking around in that long ass trench coat. So that man he's not going to take it off because it's warm out.
Yeah.
He's the only one of the X-Men that's walking around without an X-Men suit in the animated series or in the cartoon. He doesn't even have a
True.
little thing that has an X. Yeah,
Okay.
but he
Yeah.
is an X-Men at heart.
Yes.
He's the scoundrel, which I love, because you don't really know where you sit with him, in the comics or in the animated series. Even Jubilee, who loves him as a big brother, doesn't really know like if he's gonna betray them, and she'll even say
Happened
so, and
season
he's
one.
like, yeah, she'll even say so, and Gambit to tell her, well, how do you know that I
Yeah.
won't betray you? But he won't. He's there for them. Him and Wolverine, they can't stand each other. They can't stand to be in a room together. But Gambit loves Wolverine,
Oh
and
yeah.
he'll be there for him. Gambit would lay his life on the line for any one of these people. He won't necessarily say it or express it, but he'll do it, which I fucking love. I love that. I love the fact that without having to say, "Hey, I love you," he showed he'll show that he loves him, and I love that
Yeah.
because he very much is the scoundrel, and his family dynamics really fucked up if you guys go into the comics. So for him, this is his family. Jubilee, Wolverine,
Oh yeah.
all of this, and I love that scene with him and Wolverine, by the way, in Deadpool and Wolverine, where he tells him, "We ain't never had a Wolverine up in here, but you certainly should be." Telling me about drinking all my liquor or something like that. I'm butchering the line, but when he charges the card, he shatters the Jim Beam. I love that.
Do you think, unless in the comments as well, Channing can do Gambit long term,
But
7 to
here's the
10
thing with
years?
that. I think he can do 7 years.
Okay.
Charlie Cox, who we love as uh,
That's a very good
Daredevil,
point. It's a very good point.
is 41, which is my age. We're probably going to get another 4 years of Charlie Cox. Robert Downey
I
Jr. is
don't
back
know. I
as
think after Secret Wars, he may be done.
I don't know.
We'll see.
He says he's in there for the long run. So I
That's
mean,
true.
Hugh Jackman. Look,
True.
we're
Okay,
talking
you're
about
right.
age a
After
little
Hugh
bit, but
Jackman and RDJ, any of these characters can come back at this point. You're
he was shirtless in that movie for a good minute. For his age, there's a lot of 25-year-olds that don't look that ripped.
I don't look like that.
So, you could go to the gym, put in the work, you could look fucking phenomenal. Channing Tatum does not look 40 years old. That dude
It's
looks like
true.
he hits the gym. And of course, these guys get paid to do this, so they have the world's best, nutritionists and whatever, and they put in the work. If anyone has ever convinced me that they can put in the work, it's been this dude. I mean, I see Channing Tatum walking around all bald headed, and I'm like, that's not Gambit. I see Channing Tatum characterized as Gambit. I'm like, if anyone's ever done the work, it's this dude. I mean, Ryan
Absolutely.
Reynolds, after
100%.
Green Lantern, he convinced us he's Deadpool. So yeah,
Yep.
no, I want him around. I have a few ideas of who I would want as Rogue, but I definitely think that he deserves what Ryan Reynolds deserved, which is, if not a solo movie, at least to come back as one of the X-Men.
I agree. And let us
And
know
he
if you agree in the
damn well better
comments.
be there with Rogue.
Sincerely hope so. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoy Channing Tatum's Gambit and you enjoy this video, check out our Deadpool and Wolverine review where we go much more into depth about what we think about the movie overall. Thank you guys for watching.
Take care, guys.